Mr. Freeman, I have terrible news. They've let him go.
Who? Milton?
Yes!
But I thought he was in the system.
The fools let him go.
He's out of the system? Oh, no!
Okay, now we all just saw what happened. The freaking Fever got defeated by the Minnesota Lynx. I ain't gonna lie. Ever since the Minnesota Lynx just defeated Aces, my third favorite team, back to back, I'm starting to respect them, okay? I'm starting to put some more respect in their name, and I'm watching them. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not a huge fan of the way like the Lynx plays. Like, to me, it's not as exciting. It's kind of boring and repetitive and just kind of stale. So I didn't really pay attention to them like that. I just like some of their players, such as Napheesa Collier, Courtney Williams, and Kelly McBride. But tonight, again, the Minnesota Lynx, they were able to defeat Fever. Now let's kick it off with the first quarter. The first quarter begins, and Boston scores the first basket and bucket of the game. Collier scores, then Bridget scores, Mitchell scores, Collier scores, Boston scores, then Bridget makes a three-pointer. Then Mitchell scores, then Collier hits a three-pointer. Collier scores, and Collier makes one of her free throw shots. Benley scores, McBride makes a three, Mitchell scores, Heidemann makes a three, Caitlin makes two free throw shots, Bridget makes two free throw shots, Caitlin scores, Heidemann makes yet another three, then Bridget hits a three, and then the first quarter ends with the freaking Fever only having 16 points, the Minnesota Lynx 29 points. Second quarter kicks off. You have Fever scoring first. I believe it was, her name is Dantis, is how you pronounce it. I didn't get her name until the end. Then Lynx scores, Mitchell makes a three. Collier scores. Mitchell makes yet another three. I was like, oh my goodness. Kelsey Mitchell is a problem. We need her. Collier makes one of 2 points. Collier scores. Fever scores. Then Wheeler scores. Mitchell scores. McBride makes one of 2 free throw shots. Fever scores. Courtney scores. Caitlin hits a three-pointer. Okay. Collier scores. Caitlin scores. Caitlin scores again. Clark makes one of 1 free throw shots. Heidemann scores. Heidemann makes 2 of 2 free throw shots. Clark makes a three, and then the second quarter ends with the Indiana Fever having 44 points, and the Minnesota Lynx 45 points. They were just down by 1 point. Third quarter picks off. McBride makes 2 of 2 free throw shots. McBride scores again, then Boston scores, and then McBride hits yet another three. This woman is incredible. Courtney scores, Collier scores, Mitchell makes yet another 3-point shot. Collier scores, Bridget scores, Nalyssa scores. Finally, I'm gonna get on her later. Clark makes a 3-point shot. Then Courtney scores, Boston scores, Mitchell makes 2 of 2 free throw shots, Collier scores, Clark scores, and the third quarter ends with the Indiana Fever having 60 points to the Minnesota Lynx 67 points. The fourth quarter begins, and we have Hines Allen. She makes the first basket. Then Benley scores, and then Bridget hits a three, and then Lexi Hall scores, and then McBride scores, Dances scores, Courtney scores, McBride hits yet another three. I think he had 4 threes all throughout this game. It was crazy. Then she hits yet another thing. I think maybe it was either 4 or 5. I think at the highest it was 4. But again, it was incredible. Again, I was not familiar with Kayla McBride's game like this. Collier scores. Collier scores again. Mitchell scores. Mitchell makes 1 of 1 free throw shots. Then Courtney scores. And then Lexi Hall hits a beautiful three. Caitlin Clark scores. Then Clark makes 1 of 1 free throw shots. And then Collier makes 1 of 2 free throw shots. And then the game ends, okay? The game ends with Indiana Fever losing it with 80 points compared to the Minnesota Lynx 90 points. Again, they retired Maya Moore's jersey. It was an incredible feat. Again, Maya Moore, guys, she was an incredible WNBA player. She retired at 29 years old. I'm 29 now. That's crazy, right? She actually played 8 seasons in the WNBA. She was born and raised in Jefferson, Missouri. Okay, that's the same city where Napheesa Collier was born and raised, right? And of course, she played Maya Moore. That is, she played for the Minnesota Lynx. So it was a beautiful moment just to see her being, respected, revered, honored, cherished, loved, and just having the spotlight put on her and her legacy and what she contributed to the WNBA. Now, speaking of Miss Napheesa Collier, is it just me? But I believe in my book she's up there with MVP. Now, a lot of people were saying, on Twitter, y'all just love to compare 2 beautiful black women to try to knock them down, and Asia is taking it because again, Asia's her average of points per game this season is 26 points, right? Whereas Napheesa Collier is 20.3 points, right? So she's a little bit behind the stats, ain't gonna lie. But again, Napheesa Collier is at least she's putting her horses. She got a really strong horse in the race when it comes who's going to win the MVP of the 2024 WNBA season. And honestly, I wouldn't be too upset if Napheesa Collier wins over Asia Wilson, even though again, Asia Wilson right now, she's just leading the league and everything. Again, Kayla McBride, shout out to her. Again, I was not familiar with her game like this. Okay, but Kayla McBride is that girl, putting up 3 after 3 after 3. That was no easy feat, but she made it happen. Again, let's talk about the Fever and all crazy mistakes. Now, Clark, I don't know what was going on with Caitlyn. It took her, I think she only made 4 points in like the first or second quarter combined. It was something crazy. Like, and that's just not her. I don't know, like her game was just not there today. But I got to give it up to freaking Kelsey Mitchell. Okay, I'm gonna criticize the Fever, but I'm gonna give them the respect. Kelsey Mitchell is a freaking beast of a woman. Okay, the way she drives that basket, like with no intimidation, no fear, she does not hesitate. It'd be like 2 or 3 women guarding her, and like she just like a blur on the screen. She just dribbles and she just fights her way up, and she just puts it into the basket. Like she literally gets her points in the paint and also from the three. Kelsey Mitchell is an incredible asset. It seems like, she threw a little bit of shade. I did a video on it last week when I was in Albuquerque about how, she was talking about how she kind of hinted how she wants to leave the Fever. She kept on saying them instead of us. Like she's like, oh, I heard that, next year the WNBA All-Star Game is going to be hosted in Indianapolis. I'm happy for them. And she said, like, her contract, I believe it ends this year with the Indiana Fever. And she said, she's excited. She's never been in free agency before. So I was like, damn, it's like that. But, Kelsey Mitchell, she just said, like, she literally said, I got to do what's best for me. So maybe things are not, going how she wants it, behind the scenes. Maybe it's a particular team that she really looking forward to getting picked up by or, traded to. So, who knows? But again, Kelsey Mitchell is an amazing, huge asset for the Indiana Fever. They need to quit playing with her and just give that woman whatever she wants. If she wants a little bit more coin, give her a little bit more coin because, again, Kelsey Mitchell is just that much of an asset for the Indiana Fever. And now, okay, before I get to more criticism of the Indiana Fever, I'm gonna give my respects to Aaliyah Boston. She did incredible again. Like she didn't have all the answers tonight. Again, like Indiana Fever was just kind of off. Lexi Hall, she was putting up threes. She didn't have all the answers tonight. So I'm gonna be graceful with the Fever. But what I will not be graceful with, now you already know who I'm about to talk about, because she was trending on Twitter, and I was like, nah. I said, I wonder why. Freaking Nalyssa Smith. Okay, listen. For her to be, I remember somebody made this comment online, and I agree. For her to be a freaking power forward, she sucks. Like, I think she's like dead last when it comes to power forwards in the freaking WNBA. I don't understand these big girls who are softies. How are you six? This woman is 6'4". Okay, how are you letting these small girls get the rebounds on you? She barely got rebounds. I believe she only made like 1 or 2 baskets in tonight's game versus the Minnesota Lynx. And then everybody on the Twitter had the nerves to be saying, "Oh, hashtag freedom Nalyssa Smith," trying to get it trending. Like, what? Stop. You know what? Yeah, she about to get freed. She about to get freed from her job at the Indiana Fever. She about to get freed from her job from being in the W. She's gonna have to play overseas because, again, like, she's not being aggressive enough. She's not bringing what needs to be done for the Fever. She's not contributing enough to actually be an asset and help aid the Fever to a playoff, the championships. Like Nalyssa Smith. Again, I'm trying to be respectful, but like, it's frustrating watching her play. Again, she's too damn big and strong for her to not be getting rebounds, for her not to use them knees. And I'm like, is she injured? Just watching her, like, okay, I'm getting kind of out of control. Just watching her running up and down the court, it almost seems like she's almost always winded. She's always dead last to make it. Again, I'm not asking these ladies to sprint from. And then look at Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey's 29 years old. Okay, we old heads now. I'm 29 too. Freaking Nalyssa Smith is only 24. Why is it that, again, Kelsey Mitchell, we're 5 years older than you. How is it like she's sprinting up and down, dribbling the ball, not getting no travel calls, right? 2-3 women guarding her, and like she's just making the baskets. She doesn't find a way. She makes a way. That's what Kelsey Mitchell is. Nalyssa Smith, on the other hand, it's like she's just so passive, and I don't know if she's scared to getting a foul called on her, but again, it needs to stop. They need to address Nalyssa Smith. And like, y'all fans out here, y'all not being truthful. Again, I love Nalyssa Smith, but the truth got to be said. Y'all got the nerve to be talking about free Nalyssa, and then her brother Rodney, he all over Twitter talking about, get why my sister on the bench, blah blah blah. It was a whole bunch of drama. I'm just like, y'all are a mess. The truth is in the pudding, okay? The proof is in the pudding. Nalyssa Smith sucks as a power forward, okay? If you look at her stats, she is dead last. Okay, she's dead last at the bottom for a reason. She's not putting in enough effort. Again, shout out to Minnesota Lynx. Shout out to Napheesa Collier. She's in a huge running to be MVP for the 2024 WNBA season. Shout out to Maya Moore. Again, beautiful woman. She's just retired. But again, Indiana Fever, it's some calls that need to be made. Okay, it's some things that need to be rearranged. Y'all just did not play, how they normally play. Again, like, they beat a bunch of teams back to back. But, we're going to see. Minnesota Lynx looks like they're taking it. They're taking it to the championship because they really want to win the championship. The Minnesota Lynx made the Indiana Fever swallow Tylenol.